everyone, TIAN-QIANG here, and I am here with a bit of a random guide video. Yes, I am still on a hiatus, and yes, I have been playing Armored Core 6 in my own time because I didn't want to miss out, even though I was going to say I was going to stream it, but you know, life happens, so I didn't want to miss out on the game. However, I do have a video that I'm going to post with my first impressions of the first few experiences of the game. So look forward to that video when I finally get down around to editing it. But I wanted to get this one out first because I've been seeing a lot of people having issues, friends and people on the interwebs, having trouble with the chapter 1 end boss, BALTEUS. It is definitely a difficulty spike, considering the fact that you had a relatively difficult fight before this one against a AC unit. So look forward to that when you're into this quest. But it only took me about, say, almost a dozen tries to get things down. So I figured I'd share my experiences with this particular fight, the build that I was using, which I actually got from another video, which I will post the build from Boomstick Gaming down below. Check those guys out. They do amazing work as far as covering content, giving tips as far as the various games and things, Armored Core especially, which is where I actually got this build from. So let's get started. First and foremost, from what I have seen from just my playing around with my original build and then this build that I was using, which only took me a few tries to be able to get BALTEUS down once I got an idea of how to go and fight him, energy or plasma weapons are your friend. This build uses full-on plasma energy cannons, and again, I'll go ahead and give you the build down below, what I use. But essentially, the VVC 760 PRs on both ends, and then the plasma missiles, which are the VVC 7 VPMs. These guys shred through this boss's shields and just its health like it's nobody's business. It is insane. This thing build probably is what helped me win the war of attrition. And that's literally what this boss is, a war of attrition. A lot of missiles, a lot of damage coming out from this dude. But if you know where to go, have a better idea as far as dodging, keep an eye on certain things, and keeping at certain ranges, this boss is not as bad. It's bad, but it's not as bad. So just to start off with the fight here. So first off, of course, you have the rocket barrage. And for those of you guys who haven't been using this before, assault boost. Assault boosting at certain points of the fight, and you'll see me do it throughout the fight, when those rocket barrages go out, is probably one of the best ways to dodge the missile barrage. You'll still get hit. Don't get me wrong. You will still get hit, but you won't get hit as hard. So, as you see, whee! Now, you will have to do a little bit of dodging after that, because sometimes, depending on how early you go and boost through, you'll still have rockets come at your face. So, as you see here, yeah, I still dodged, and I was there relatively unscathed, so it was pretty good. So, as I said before, key things are, one, if you can, keep a relatively medium range from BALTEUS if at all possible. There will be points where he will dash into you, and that's going to be completely unavoidable. I say that just because of the shotgun rounds and the explosive shells that this dude does, which are going to be way worse to deal with and much harder to dodge at closer range. If you feel comfortable using like melee weapons like a pulse blade or something like that, or heck, even something I've seen going around, the pulse gun, which is the HI-18GU-A2 pulse gun that you can have on either the right or the left hand. That can definitely help you shred the shield. However, because of the range of it, I have found better success using this build in keeping my health up high than it is for being that close to him. It does work to shredding shields, but just be mindful that you are going to be a little bit more susceptible, at least I was, in my experience, more susceptible to his range of attacks. So just put down the pressure. Like I said, as you see through the plasma rifles and the missiles, it does quite a bit of damage on a shield. So as you see, I boosted through. Now that point I didn't because I had ran out of energy, but I did dodge ahead. And that's another tip as well. If you see the rockets coming, one of the best things that you can do once you get into the rhythm of knowing at the right time when to do it, dodge through. Just go forward. It does seem impulsive for myself included, for us to go back, but that just gives more range for the rockets to kind of lock on and then bop you. Especially with that many amount of missiles that are coming at you, you don't want to risk it. So get into the habit of dodging forward, either using the assault boost or just your regular dash if you're able to, which as you see, I do take some points to keep on the ground to be able to get my energy back up so that you won't really recharge it all that quickly or at all if you are in mid-air. So keep that in mind as well. You do want to have your energy up at a decent levels for when you need to dodge. So, but shells are coming up. We're straight through the shields. Now, I did dodge backwards that way. I don't know how the heck I was actually able to get out of dodge. I should have gotten hit, to be honest, and I actually did get hit a little bit, but that would have been better for me to go and dodge forward. Now you hear that beep beep, that you'll see it in just a second. So right there. So that that's another thing with this fight. The minute you hear that beep beep, whatever you're doing, you stop, you find where the boss is, and you get ready, because that's where the explosive shells are going to come out to wreck your day. One of the reasons why keeping at close range, at least for me, was so difficult was because of that. Those explosive shells, they wrecked me so hard, so many times. It's not even funny. Like, there was points where it would take like a half or even a third of my health out just for that one attack alone. So I got into the habit of, the minute I hear that beeping, I look to see where the boss is. If I can't see him in line of sight, and just get a dodge. Now you will see me get hit by this. So I did dodge because I knew that was coming, and then it happened again, and it did clip me. So it does take a chunk out of the health. Thankfully, it wasn't that much. So this build is pretty beefy as far as dealing with those shells. However, for your build, it might take way more damage. So be mindful, because not only will it deal a ton of damage, it will also fully stagger you, which will make you more susceptible to other attacks. Now, in this particular case, I was able to stagger him before at the same time, so it wasn't that bad. But there are a couple of points where after like a rocket barrage, he will go and use the explosive shells at you. So be mindful and be careful when that happens, especially if you're assault dashing into him. So now that the shield is broken, you basically just go ham. Much rockets and much energy attacks as you can. And as you see here, it does quite a bit of damage. So, but keeping at a decent range, so where my health is not taking too bad of a hit. Now, I did do charge shots. I was thinking that maybe it would shred the shields or do a lot more damage. Honestly, just because of the way it arcs out like that, it's probably not worth it. So don't be like that. You'll see me do it a few more times just out of habit because of some of the other weapons that I've used in the past. But yeah, don't. Just save yourself the energy. Just use regular shots, please. So we'll dodge through here. Yep, that's another thing too. Another thing is keep airborne as well. I wouldn't say necessarily fully airborne, and I haven't done a build that using maybe like the quad legs, to where you could keep airborne. I don't know how effective that would be as far as this fight is concerned, but keeping a little bit airborne to dodge some attacks definitely will help and will come into play very, very well once you get to certain the halfway mark, because there will be a bit of a phase transition, but I'll talk about that once we get there. So we'll just blast through. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Okay, so one other thing to note, after you do the initial stagger, yes, you technically do have enough time with enough pressure to be able to stagger him again. If you can, cool, do so to get the extra damage. However, being mindful, especially if you're using melee or close range weapons, because the amount of time it takes, considering how much this boss moves around and dashes around, you may find it to where by the time you get to where it's staggered, the shield will be back. It's only down for a short period of time, and then you'll be starting back from square one. So be mindful. And then it's basically just rinse and repeat. So again, with the rockets and things like that, dash through, and you're fine. And then you will have to sometimes dash again, because depending on when you start your dash and you dash through, not all the rockets will be destroyed. So keep that in mind. I still took a little bit of damage, but it wasn't like the full-on brunt. So still worth doing the assault dash for that. Okay, so I think this was, no, that happens towards like the later half, where basically I ended up dashing like multiple times. I actually stopped when the second wave happened and then dashed through again. Now this, yeah, with this one, I didn't have enough energy to finish dashing through, so I did end up getting stopped. But I still was able to do little dodges on the field, and I was able to dodge everything, so. Okay, so again, as I said before, beep, beep. Now, I completely forgot about that because I was so busy dashing and trying not to get hit by the rockets. Again, this has gotten me so many times with other builds. So just keep that in mind. If you can, the minute you hear that beep, beep, you go. Just get out of there. At the very least, try to stay airborne if at all possible, just to reduce the amount of splash damage that you can take, because these explosive rounds will do splash damage. So even if you dodge to the left, even if you dodge to the right on the ground, you can still take a hit. It's one of the first things I believe they talk about when they're doing the introduction to the game. So that holds so true with this particular fight. So keep that in mind. But wasn't too terrible. We were able to recover. It was all well good. And then we were able to break. So burn as much damage as possible, still keeping that medium range. The other reason why you want to keep medium range as well is because it does have shotgun shells as well as the explosive rounds. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but yeah, that was what wrecked me around the time too, because all of a sudden I would just be, you know, slicing and dicing, and then all of a sudden, wait, why did I lose half my health? Like, that's why. It's because of the shotguns. So keeping at this medium range will stop it from doing that, along with just keeping you giving you enough time to be able to dodge everything. We're just gonna let this play through. It's pretty much just just a lot of the same. And this fight only took me about a little over 3 minutes. Oh, okay. So during the transition, so that's the other thing. So once you get around the half health, be mindful. Be mindful. You will get a notification that something's gonna be happening. At that point, get away from the boss. It's going to do, I forget what the name of the attack is, but we actually have it as well, extensions later on down the line. But it will wreck your day. It will do so much damage, which is again, another reason why this particular build is great, because at that point, you should be at a decent range to where you won't have to worry about that.
The waves are intensifying.
Yep, so the waves are intensifying, boom. And that's going to be your mark off for the transition into phase 2. So phase 2 is going to be a lot of the same, with the addition of a few new attacks, a la the flamethrowers. So what I like to call flame blades, or what I've seen called flame blades, and I'm calling it too because it looked like a freaking flame blade. So after you'll see him do rockets, or, you know, machine gun or shotgun shells as well, you'll see it arc around with this flame attack or flamethrower attack. You'll see now, doesn't show in this particular video, but there will be a time where we'll do a whole arc where it'll do a whole little cone area of flamethrower. You'll just need to dodge to the side, but just be mindful the minute you start seeing flames anywhere, just get out of dodge. That one's relatively easy to go and dodge, but it might be in it might be in combination with other attacks as well, so be mindful. But the flame blades is what you see here. What I ended up doing to dodging them as they came around, and this is what I was referring to before, where staying a little bit airborne won't hurt, to help you avoid not just the explosive round, but this as well, because me being in the air, dodge that attack. It's going from air to ground. And another thing is too, BALTEUS will go, I keep calling BALTEUS, whatever. BALTEUS will go and do a follow-up attack with another flame blade around the other way too sometime. So keep that in mind as well. See, so 1, 2, yeah, so that time he did a double, but I just stayed in the air and I just went through the boss as well to completely dodge this, not only the rockets, but the second flame blade as well. And then beyond that, those are really the only new attacks, and it's just more of the same. Keep the pressure on, keep the lasers, dodge the rockets as they come. So it's the next laser dodge. So yeah, assault boost through, still got hit. Okay, so yeah, that time, that was one where I actually stopped in mid-flight just to conserve my energy, and then I was able to dodge them both relatively well. Again, you'll see I still took damage, but not nearly as much as I would have if I took the full brunt. So we go through. 1, still got hit. 2, still got hit. But most of those rockets are gone. And then I keep up the assault.
The enemy can't take much more.
Yeah, and at this point, you end up doing so much damage that you might be able to finish the boss after the shield comes back on, after you break this next shield. However, if you're able to do as much damage and not, be a bad shot like I am, you're gonna kill them right there. But now here's just more of the same. Just keep up the pressure, keep up the rockets, keep up the laser cannons. Okay, so this is where I think this is where I ended up dodging really weirdly here, I believe. Oh no, I ended up taking like quite a bit of damage, but I was still able to have enough boost just to boost through, so I didn't take nearly as much. Yeah, I took like a brunt. Okay, no, I didn't really dodge. I took the full brunt of that. But it was enough to break the shields and then finish BALTEUS completely. And that's what I ended up doing. Like I said, this fight took me about a little over 3 minutes or so to do it. With this build, again, I will make sure to keep the put the video description where I got this originally from, and some other builds as well. And then the full-on build that I used here, I'll put that in the description below, so that way you guys can try it out for yourselves. Hopefully this helps, so long as you can assault boost through the rockets, keep in the air a little bit, keep at a medium range, use pulse or energy weapons, and then just go, go, go. Be mindful of the beeps, keep in the air, dodge, you should be fine. This boss, again, was a huge difficulty spike, but as somebody who has been playing this game only for a few days, and even with my experience playing the Armor Core 3 and its subsequent games for Armor Core 3, I haven't played anything past 3. I would consider myself a bit of a novice, but I was able to do it, and I am sure a lot of you, if not all of you guys, can do it too. So keep calm, keep the pressure on, and you'll do just fine. But thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this video was helpful. This is the first time I've really done one of these type of ones, and it was completely off the cuff, so I apologize if I was blabbing a lot. But again, hopefully it was helpful. If you guys have any questions, put them in the comments below. And as always, be you, be safe, and have a good night. Take care, and good luck.